Mental health and healing have been vital to human societies throughout history, shaping how we live, grow, and thrive. Over thousands of years, our understanding of mental health has evolved dramatically, shifting from spiritual rituals to modern scientific approaches. In this video, we'll explore the journey of mental health care, looking at ancient healing methods, cultural practices, breakthroughs in therapy and medication, and the rise of mental health awareness in schools and universities today. In ancient Mesopotamia, mental illnesses were often attributed to demonic possession. Treatments involved spiritual rituals, exorcisms, and offerings to appease the gods. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, mental well-being was deeply connected to spiritual health. Healing practices included dream interpretation, music, and rituals performed by priest-physicians who believed that the heart and mind were intertwined. The Greek physician Hippocrates revolutionized mental health by shifting its explanation from supernatural causes to natural ones. He introduced the concept of the four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, and believed that mental illness resulted from an imbalance in these humors. Treatments included diet, exercise, and rest. Meanwhile, philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle discussed mental clarity, emotions, and self-awareness as part of the human experience. In ancient India, mental health was deeply integrated into spiritual practices. Yoga, first developed around 3000 BCE, was a method to unite the mind, body, and spirit. The Yoga Sutras by Patanjali emphasize practices such as meditation, breathing exercises, and discipline to achieve mental clarity and inner peace. Meditation was also central to Hinduism and Buddhism, focusing on mindfulness, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. In China, traditional Chinese medicine, often referred to as TCM, emphasized balancing qi, the life energy, to maintain both mental and physical health. Practices like Tai Chi, acupuncture, and meditation were aimed at harmonizing energy flow, treating mental distress as an imbalance within the body and the environment. In Africa, mental health was closely tied to spirituality and community. Traditional healers used rituals, drumming, herbal medicine, and meditative practices to treat emotional and mental ailments. Community involvement was crucial, as healing often involved reconnecting the individual with their family, ancestors, and spiritual beliefs. Native American cultures viewed mental health as an interconnected relationship between the mind, body, and the natural world. Healing ceremonies included sweat lodges, vision quests, storytelling, and chanting. Meditation and prayer were key tools to restore spiritual harmony and mental balance. During the Middle Ages, mental illness was often seen as a moral or spiritual failing in Europe. Exorcisms, punishments, and confinement were common treatments, as people believed mental health issues were caused by sin or demonic possession. In contrast, scholars in the Islamic world, such as Avicenna, advanced the scientific study of mental health. His work, The Canon of Medicine, explored mental illness as a medical condition and recommended therapies such as rest, diet, and music. Meanwhile, in Asia, meditation and mindfulness practices continued to flourish, particularly in Buddhist traditions. Similarly, in Africa and among Native Americans, meditative rituals and traditional healing practices persisted despite cultural shifts and colonization. The Renaissance marked a shift towards scientific inquiry and reasoning. Mental illness began to be understood as a medical issue rather than a spiritual one. Asylums were built to house individuals with mental illnesses, though conditions were often harsh. During the Enlightenment, thinkers like Philippe Pinel introduced moral therapy, advocating for humane treatment of patients. Around this time, Eastern practices like yoga and meditation began to reach Europe through explorers and scholars, sparking interest in their mental and physical benefits. Unfortunately, colonialism disrupted indigenous healing traditions in Africa and the Americas. Many traditional practices, including meditation and rituals, were dismissed as primitive. Despite this, they endured within communities. The 19th century saw the birth of modern psychiatry. Wilhelm Griesinger argued that mental illness had biological causes, laying the groundwork for modern mental health science. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theories introduced the concept of the unconscious mind, revolutionizing mental health treatment. During this period, Western societies also began to explore yoga and meditation more deeply, incorporating these practices into emerging therapeutic frameworks. This era saw a mix of progress and missteps. Treatments like electroconvulsive therapy, lobotomies, and insulin shock therapy were groundbreaking but often harmful. The deinstitutionalization movement began, driven by antipsychotic medications like chlorpromazine, also known as Thorazine. These allowed many patients to live outside asylums. Psychotherapy methods like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, became widely used. Yoga and meditation gained global recognition as tools for stress relief and mental clarity. Figures like Swami Vivekananda and Paramahansa Yogananda introduced these practices to the West, sparking movements like transcendental meditation. Modern therapies, including trauma-focused approaches like EMDR and advancements in psychopharmacology, have made mental health treatment more effective and personalized. Schools and universities now integrate mental health programs, including mindfulness, stress management, and emotional regulation, into their curricula. Universities offer free counseling, peer support groups, and workshops to address the growing mental health crisis among students. Campaigns like Mental Health First Aid train teachers and students to recognize and respond to mental health challenges early. Mental health apps, teletherapy platforms, and AI-driven diagnostics are making care accessible and scalable. Public campaigns aim to reduce stigma and promote mental health literacy globally. Mental health care has evolved from spiritual rituals and ancient practices like yoga and meditation to modern scientific methods, therapies, and preventive education. While progress has been remarkable, challenges like stigma and accessibility remain. By embracing a holistic approach that respects cultural traditions, leverages modern science, and prioritizes education, we can build a future where mental health is valued and supported universally.